Hey everyone, welcome back. It's time for a review because it's been a long time since I've done one. It's been a long time since I've done anything on the channel. Sorry about that, but we're back now, and I read a book while I was on hiatus that was really incredible. And that book is The Rise and Fall of Mount Majestic. And I've been on a middle grade kick for a while. And it hit just right, you know? And this is gonna be a little rambly. I am not scripted today. But I fell in love with this book's whimsical storybook feel. It almost has this vibe of The Princess Bride meets Avatar: The Last Airbender. And there's so much playfulness and fun in this, and I love it so much. The basic premise is that all of the people in the whole world are on this one island, and in the middle of the island there's a mountain that rises each day and falls each night. And they discover that this mountain is in fact the stomach of a sleeping giant, and they need to figure out how to keep it from waking up. And it's a really fun adventure story, but in that there is so much nuance. Like, it's a middle grade book, but there is layer upon layer, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, that even as an adult, I adored reading through this, and the ending totally made me cry. I was bawling. But that's the kind of book this is. That's the closest comparison I have, is the meeting of those two. And not only is it whimsical and fun, but it's honest. It's honest. And you go into a middle grade book expecting, it's like not actually super realistic to real life. But I'm reading this and seeing it and go, oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that happens. That's real. And it felt so grounded, even though it was so fantastical and so whimsical. And I adored it. And I'm starting on my videos, I want to add content warnings or trigger warnings. The only one that I could come up for this one was the father figure for Persimmon, our main character, is absent. He went missing. And other than that, they think he's been kidnapped in the beginning, but there's some nuance and some layers with that. But other than that, I can't think of anything. It's a very clean book. Like, I'd let my sisters read it and not worry about anything. So with that out of the way, I'm going to get into some spoiler-free thoughts, and then after that, we're going to dig into spoilers. And I think the first thing that I really loved about this was the realistic character progression. Like, every character, they were a little bombastic, they were a little out there, and there's one character, his name is Warvel the Worrier, and everything goes wrong in his life, and so he's so fearful and afraid, and it's like very out there, but you walk through his history and his backstory and you're like, oh no, that's kind of justified, I feel ya. And he's used to great effect to like enunciate these themes, and I would say the three biggest themes in this book, which again, really incredible stuff for a middle grade book, is the power of belief and the magic of the mundane, and then also the value of both caution and courage. And the way these dynamics play out is wonderful, especially with our main character, Persimmon, because Persimmon is a kid. She's like 11, 12 years old. And so often when I read middle grade, like, I love Alcatraz versus the Evil Where is it? Oh, it's hiding. There it is, Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. I love that series, but Alcatraz doesn't think and act like a kid. Persimmon does. Like, the way she acts, the things she does, even how she gets into the adventure is like realistic. It makes sense. And I love that. I love that our childlike narrator is childlike. And it presents such interesting nuance and challenges to the story. And I love it. It was so well done. There were a couple things, because I'll throw in some critiques. The world building was interesting and fun, but as an epic fantasy reader who loves like Stormlight and Discworld, we didn't follow the world building back. It's not a very world building heavy book. We have a lot of different original fantasy races, a lot of different creatures. You got like the Leaf Eaters and the Rumble Bumps, which are super fun and I love them, but we don't dig into much of the why or the how. And part of the story is discovering more about the world and that the world is much bigger than we thought. But it's not so much focused on the culture and the world building. But honestly, I'm okay with that because it lets the characters and the writing shine. Like, this prose is so read-aloudable. It's read-aloudable. Like, there's one character who has a perpetually stuffed nose. And he's always talking like this, like he's got his nose. And it's delightful. It's so fun. And there's so many, like, every character, like, you could wipe out all the rest of the prose in the book and just read the dialogue and tell exactly who's talking at every given moment. Because every voice is so unique and justified as well with their characters and their aspirations and what they want out of their lives. And I think it's incredible. And the dialogue is also super fun. There's one quote that I was flipping through to find some stuff, and it's one character right at the very beginning is yelling, "Don't you dare eat me after all I've been through today." And it's wonderful. And I'm getting all stuttery because I just love this book and I want you guys to read it. Highly, highly recommend this book. Beautiful themes, incredible execution, and again, highest compliment I can give it. It feels like Avatar: The Last Airbender. So y'all go check it out. And if you want to stick around for spoilers, stick around, but that's what I'm getting into next. And I think the biggest part of these spoilers that I want to talk about is the giant himself. And the way he is revealed to us was beautiful. Like, and you can feel the writing and the tone change as Persimmone walks into the snoring cave and encounters this face, this massive face of this giant. And I got chills. I was holding my breath because Jennifer Trafton knows how to confront us with the unknown and how to make us feel things. Like, I don't just see how big the giant is when I read it. I feel small. And that's an incredible thing. And throughout, like, she doesn't just like leave it at that. She explores the nuance of that, of like, what happens when the giant wakes up? How do people relate to the world now that we know there is a giant? And like, you see people going like, oh, well, I'm just not gonna think about it, or I'm going to protest this, or I'm gonna do that. And we watch how people react and what people do. And that makes like the stories of Warville, who finds his courage so incredible, and Persimmone, who learns like just the value of the mundane. Like, the presence of the giant highlights the mundane, us, who we are, and helps us see ourselves in this story, and also makes us realize that we're not the center of everything. I think sometimes it's easy to think that we're on the island in the center of everything, but then we see that giant and we realize, oh, the world is so much bigger than I am. The world is so much bigger. There are countries where giants live. And I'm just on my little island. And that is powerful. It's so powerful. And relating to the giant, most of the spoilers revolve around the giant. But there was one plot point that I fell a little flat to me. Persimone's climax, when she uses the feather to stop the Leaf Eaters, didn't really land for me. it just felt a little bit like, oh, we need to do something. And I feel like because I didn't understand the world building of who the leaf eaters were and what their culture was like, how they got that way, because it was kind of implied that they never used to be so stuck up and the feather helped unlock that. But I felt like I didn't know that well enough for that to feel justified. But what did feel justified is Persimone's silent dance with the broom. And there's that quote, "Life is a mess and a miracle, so pick up a broom and dance." And her arc, she goes from this like, I want to be a hero. She's such a, if you're familiar with typology, she's an ENTP7 all the way. And she wants like this adventure and this excitement and all of the intensity and everything that's like dialed to 11. And through it, she confronts the giant. And again, that massiveness, and wonders, okay, what do I do with that? And watching her journey into realizing that, okay, maybe Warvel's got a little bit of a point. Maybe it's all right to be a little afraid. Maybe I can take that caution, and maybe I can learn to love the fact that I am small. Because the whole book, Persimone wants to be big. She wants to be the hero. She wants to be in charge. And then in the end, she's like, I'm okay. I'm okay being small. I'm okay sweeping the floors and living in the mundane while I wait for my father to come back from across the sea. And I think that's incredibly impactful, of being willing to accept that there are things bigger than we are and that I don't have to be in control of them all. And Persimone showed me that. And so I am forever in love with this book. It's a new favorite of mine, and I would highly recommend that y'all check it out. That's The Rise and Fall of Mount Majestic by Jennifer Trafton, and there is some amazing art by Brett Helquist. Just, it's spectacular. Go check it out, y'all. And thanks for watching the channel. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.